aqua farming. Some will define aqua farming as a practice of rearing aquatic organisms in a restricted area for commercial use, or rather in the wild as well. Whatever it is you need to know about aqua farming is what we do right here on your first agricultural TV station. My name remains Joshua Isha, your regular host. You can call me your Aquaman. You know why? Because I make sure I bring you nitty gritty that you need to know that lives in the water, and of course how they can be raised. And today, like any other day, fish is one of the most important aquatic animals for food, for nutrients, for whatever it is. Fish has over the years shown to be one of the most important living aquatic animals in the water. And today we'll be talking about something quite interesting, as people have really dived into this very practice without knowing the estimation of cost of production in fisheries. And a lot of farms have gone for that reason because they just went into the business without having a total breakdown of what they need to know, what they need to do at every given time. Of course, he needs no introduction. He's an expert in what he does, talking about a fishery scientist rather, and also a consultant, Wase Gabriel. It's good to have you, Mr. Wase.
Thank you so much.
All right. Like I said in my introduction, estimation has made a lot of people to blindly venture into this very business, which has amounted to a lot of hitting the rocks, you know, by the way, you know, after maybe having tried for 5 or 6 months, they hit the rock and then they fold up. Right now, they're looking for who to lease the farms to, or better say, sell off those very places. What is estimation of cost of production in fisheries?
Yes, first of all, before anybody ventures into any form of business or invest his or her money into any form of business, it is expected that such an individual will take a seat, plan of what is involved and what is expected. It is the same in fish farming as well. But this, like you said, has been a problem to so many persons, especially new entrants. Persons who have just adapted the business of it. You know, some are retirees, and maybe some persons are just finding what to put their money, waiting when they retire, if they can fall back on. And in doing so, sometimes they don't receive the needed professional guides, and then they venture into this without expectation. Fish farming is quite capital intensive, and so at whatever level you want to operate, you need to get prepared, especially the production aspect. And in the production aspect, before you go in, what do you think is your capacity? And your capacity is based on what amount of money you can be able to release within certain periods to cover for the cost of production. You know, when we're making estimates of production, we are referring to every cost that you are going to incur during the production process before marketing or sales is done. So as a farmer in the production particular, which is where heavy amounts of money are pumped into, the farmer is expected to have an idea of such what amount of money that should be made available, not money in expectation. You are not starting a business expecting that your uncle is sending you 10 million by next month, and a friend in the US has promised to give you 5 million, and you have used all this money on paper to start a farm. It's going to be a disaster because there is a possibility of you getting those monies or not. So the estimation is meant to be based on what capital is within your reach within that particular period of time. What should be the actual estimate of production? Let's take an analysis of maybe today's market forces and to try to estimate what we may be needing to produce, say, 1 kg of fish. Of course, if you have what it takes to produce 1 kg of fish, you can check your account balance as to see how many kg you are capable of producing. This is how the estimate is meant to be made, not based on money that you are expecting that have not yet gotten to you. You know, there was a client that I I consulted for some time ago, and he wanted to stock 10,000. And then I was trying to convince him not to, because this is the first time you're just starting the farm. I needed to start small to grow than starting big to come back and start small again. You know, and he insisted that feeding is not a problem. Of course, you know, the major cost you're going to incur is from feeding.
Yeah.
And so he said, feeding is not a problem. Feeding is not a problem. Do you know what it means to feed 10,000 fish? He said it's not a challenge to him. He started. But along the line, he could no longer feed the fish, and he has to do a distress sales. And that means sometimes selling even at a point that your fish are yet to attain their growth potential.
Yes, let me just cut you a little bit short. Now, is that a precise analysis as to this is the X number of feed my fish can eat, or it fluctuates? Does it fluctuate or is static? Say, for example, you want to put like 1,000. Are you so optimistic that this, if I have like 10 bag of what's a feed now, can be able to feed them from the day they are brought till they get 1 kg, or it fluctuates to maybe 15 much later, or 12, or even 13 or 20? Or it's so, you are so optimistic that once I have this number of birds, I have this number of fingerlings, I'm so sure that if I have X number of feed, this will solve my problem till they get to the point of self.
All right, let's go practical, because the questions has brought us to make the actual analysis now. Let us make the actual estimates now, so that our farmers too can learn from there. And you see, when you want to stock your fish, this, you know, we are talking of production cost. So we are working with an assumption that you already have existing facilities. So that is not to be captured. We are talking about production cost now.
Yes.
So for you to have an estimate of what it takes to produce, say, 1,000 fish now, the first thing to do is, you know, you already have the facility. So what you need to do is to procure your seeds. Even if you have a hatchery and you're hatching your own seeds, you still have to cost them. So what is the cost of the seeds? Okay, let's assume that the seeds at juvenile stage are sold at 50 naira, for example, which is relatively the average cost of seeds at the moment. So let's say that 50 naira goes for a seed, and you want to stock 1,000. That means you have 50,000 naira for your seeds, right? Okay. If you get your seeds, the next thing for you, okay, maybe you have made deposit for the seeds, you are yet to go for collection, so you need to prepare your ponds. The label that will be required to prepare your pond, the label that will later feed your fish, the label that will help you in the running of the farm. Even if you are doing it yourself, you cost it. But let's come to that later. Now, you have paid for your seeds. How about the water? What is your water source? Are you using petrol to pump, or you're using power holding to pump water, or you're buying water, or what is your source?
Okay.
You also have to calculate and estimate, okay, what quantity of water will be required. Okay, assuming maybe you're pumping a 5,000 liters of tank twice a week, what power do you use to achieve that? Now, let's assume that your water is in the pond now. You have already paid 50,000 naira for the seeds. When the fish come, you have to feed them. Let's work with an assumption or a template that this fish should be kept for 6 months. If this fish is to be kept for 6 months, we can say that a total of between 66 to 67 bags will be enough to bring this fish to table size. You know, so many farmers will not want to hear this aspect, because they want to hear that 20 bags is enough. They want to hear that 30 bags is enough. They want to hear that 10 bags is enough, but it is never enough. If you really want to get the best out of the good seeds you procured. Recently, we're interacting with a breeder, and somebody complained that sometimes the seeds they buy are very poor. So it's difficult for them to make profit. And I said, yes, it is possible that you can also get poor seeds. But even when you get good seeds, what have you done wrong? Or what have you done right? It is only when you do every procedure rightly that you can say, oh, the seeds I got are bad. In your own operations, You have failed yourself. So you cannot blame the breeder. And that is what is happening. Some persons don't feed their fish properly. Because when you give them the feeding regime, they ignore it because they feel that, oh, even somebody said, I watched on YouTube and they said this one can be enough. Somebody told me. So you are now having so many ideas. And those persons, those ideas are not peculiar to your own problem. Of course, you know that what is working for me in position A must not necessarily be applied in the other area. So people don't understand this. So now when it comes to feeding, for 1,000 fish, you should be ready for 66 or 67 bags of feed if you want to get. Now in the first month of stocking, 1 bag will be enough for you. For the 1,000, that is 1 bag. In the second month of production, 4 bags will be enough for you. In the third month of production, 9 bags. Now, in the first month, the 1 bag should be 2 mm. In the second month, the 4 bags should be 3 mm. In the third month, the 9 bags should be 4 mm. Now, in the 5th month, you will need 18 bags of 6 mm. And in the 6th month, you will need 22 bags of either 6 mm or 9 mm as the case may be. So this will bring you to a total of 66 bags, let's say plus 1 or 0.5
for 1,000.
For 1,000 fish. So when you, okay, let's assume now that the average cost of feed is 20,000 per bag. And you are needing up to 66 bags. You see the amount of money that you need to prepare. Now, you also need to prepare some money for the labor. If your fish is going to be there for 6 months, if you are paying on monthly basis, or you're paying on based on what effort has been done on your farm per hour or per day, or whatever formula you have, you must factor all these costs, put them on ground. Like I've discussed about water earlier. So if you take the cost of water, if you take the cost of labor, the cost of procurement of seeds, the cost of feeding, you must also take in consideration your own time. You have to pay yourself. For some of the stuff, even if you're not doing the labor, your supervisory role should also be cost and payment should be made for that. So all of this, and even when it comes to harvesting, so if you want to make an estimate that will take you all to the end, all of this will be factored in. Now when you put in all this together, now the calculation of the feed which I did to be 66 bags is with the assumption that you are using good feed to feed your fish. Because if you are not using good fish, that will not even be enough. So if you are using good fish, good feed, the conversion ratio is 1:1, meaning that if each fish that consumes 1 kg of feed will attain 1 kg weight gain, which is 1:1.
All right, 1:1. Well, I'm afraid we'll have to go on a quick break. Don't forget, we're still here with Wase Gabriel, a fish scientist and a consultant, where we're talking about estimation of cost of production in fisheries. Let's go on this break. When we return, of course, we'll be talking more. Stay tuned, don't go away. before we went on that break, we've been discussing estimation of cost of production in fisheries. And of course, my regular guest is none other but once again Gabriel, a fish scientist and also a consultant who has been expatiating so many nitty-gritty you need to know when it comes to estimation of cost of production in fish production. This was a left to me. I would love to be a fisherman, probably maybe after everything reason, because even Jesus is deserved also a fisherman. That aside, a lot of people have really seen this business as a very lucrative business. And of course, to an extent, someone's sitting outside. Mr. Gabriel, to an extent, you've been helped a lot. And if you see a lot of people who are into fishing, they don't look big like their miracles and the rest, you know. So someone is saying, you're telling me you're making money, but you're not looking it. When it does on the light, I met a doctor, like that Dr. Cookie. Yeah. He said that people don't really look at fish breeders as rich people because they're always, you know, like they're not fat and big in nature and all that. And that's on the night end. How lucrative is the business? I know you've been consulting for a lot of people who today are multi-millionaires, who today started with probably X amount of money, but today they are millionaires as we speak. How lucrative, true, how lucrative is this very business? Because people have seen it like, yes, we know it's lucrative, but then how lucrative? Because you see, you keep seeing some folding. So if it's lucrative, why are people folding up? You know? I know management is one key aspect in which you've hammered about and all that. You know, some go as far as going to learn Lagos Business School, Kaduna Business School, Abuja Business School, and all that, just to incorporate into this very business, but they end up still not making it out of it. How lucrative? Give me testimonies of people who started up with 100,000 naira. Today they are, you can say they have 5 million, which they have 500,000. I know that you know, sometimes the gain and is over bloated. You know, they can't tell me you invest 1 million, you have 15 million. No, come on, that is stealing. That is stealing.
Yeah, the business is quite lucrative, but I've always say, for me, anybody venturing into any business should know that there are two sides to every coin. Yes, it is quite lucrative. You are going to make money if you put in money, but there is also a chance that you can lose money. You can't rule that out because it's part of the business. And there could be some
losing is part of the business.
Losing is not the business, generally about business. You make profit, you make losses. That is business for you. And fish farming is a business. Yes.
Very true.
So there is also a chance that you can lose money. So, you know, when you go in with a mindset, like I said earlier, you know, there are some people since that somebody told them that putting X amount of money will give you 10 times the invested money, your capital. That is the mindset they went into the business with. And so at the end of the day, they actually got 0.5% interest profit from the capital invested. To them, it's failure already because it is not even close to what was they were told. So to them, it's not worth it because they wanted to put in 1 naira and make 10 million. That is what they were told. So you have to work with reality. Like I was making the estimates earlier now, I told you that, you know, along the line, some of the farmers that are faulting, there are 1 or 2 things they are not doing correctly. For instance, I am telling you that 1,000 fish should eat up to 66 bags of good quality feed. That is not, it's not every farmer that will take it. To them, it is too high. Yes, they feel they can use less and get that result until when the result is not there, and sometimes even far less than average. That is where they begin to feel that, oh, something is wrong, but it's late at that time. So when you make your estimate, even as I was telling you now, at the end of the day, I am going to also give room for 5% mortality. These are living organisms.
Yes.
So I cannot expect that as I'm stocking 1,000 fish, at harvest I should have 1,000 fish.
Or even 1,500.
I am going to make a room for losses, for mortality. But I know that the gains will cover up for that mortality. So a lot of persons in their estimation, in their projections, some of these factors are left out. So at the end of the day, they are not losing money actually, but the profit is not what they had planned to get. And that is why they feel that the business have not paid them. There are also instances where truly someone may lose money because sometimes there are certain situations or events that may occur take you unaware. For instance, maybe power failure. There has been a time that before this strike, the other one, I had losses. I had just done my hatchery. The generator was bad, and I wasn't expecting that. That one was sudden, and light was off for 2 days. So these are unforeseen circumstances that can throw you off balance. So when you go into a business, like I've said, passion, if the passion is there, even at losses, you go again because you know where you're heading to and you have consistent belief that you are getting your results. So, but there are some persons that one somersault, they are off and they will never come back.
Mr. Wansey, people keep talking about passion when it comes to agriculture. And there are some people, like Mr. Miracle, it doesn't have any passion for agriculture. I'm so sure about that. But now, what's there is now they are encouraging everyone to venture into agriculture. And you say passion is what drives you. So is that really visible that you must have passion to venture? Because I tell you this, if I'm into agriculture today, it's not because I have passion for it, but because I want to plant, I want to plug my money. Because when you're into agriculture, it's like you are printing your money. You literally not buy, plenty. So it's more reason, not because of the passion.
Okay.
So if really you're talking about passion, a lot of people really don't have passion. It's about what will I gain out of this.
Now the people folding are those without passion.
Okay.
That is the reality of it. I want to tell you categorically that there is nothing you do that does not have challenges. There are persons who have gone to school and left the school without graduating. There are persons who have started businesses and left those businesses, but others are prospering in the same businesses. When the passion is not there and there are obstacles before you, you cannot cross because you only see the impossibility because of the present circumstances. So, passion is not the only driving force, but it is there to aid you when you face challenges, when you come across challenges. And I've told you, you can make sales within few months and smile and declare free food and drinks for everybody. There will also be a time you will shed tears and you will be alone because those who declared free drinks and food will not be there with you. It happens.
Yeah.
So if the passion is not there, I made, okay, maybe I put in $1 million and I've lost some money. I'm only having 700,000. First, I will start thinking of what else to do because I don't want the 700 also to disappear. But when you use 500 to make $1 million, it was, you were happy. But also a time came, so there are seasons to this. So why I keep hammering on passion is because, yes, anybody can go into, but pray and work so hard and be consistent enough not to come across challenge because once you do, you will not proceed because of the lack of passion.
You will not proceed. Well, on that note, we are coming to the end of the program. But before we go, Mr. Wansey, I must say to an extent, we are really investing a lot of knowledge in this program, which I believe one way or the other we're definitely going to repeat because whatever you sow is what you are going to reap. So can you not quickly go ahead, advise the farmers, tell them in your own opinion as an expert, as an expert, generally this is what you want them to do. And if anyone wants to reach us, well, probably stumble into the program on TV or better still see on our YouTube channel. How to reach you basically is what I want to say.
Yeah, first of all, let me say to all farmers that fish farming business is good business, it's lucrative, and many persons can testify who are already making money in the business. And one thing I would say is that always work within the capacity of your resources. Do not, because of expectations and desire, go above your limits. When you stock fish, for instance, if you know you cannot, because at present, for you to even take care of 1,000 fish from the estimates we are making, you will not spend less than 1.5 million for just 1,000 if you want to properly take care of them. So do you have 1.5 million in your account at the time of stocking? If you don't, please step backward. Start with 500 and take care of them well so that you can make profit. When that happens, you can go to 1,000. When you make profit, you can go to 1,005, and that is how you continue to grow until you get to a level that you yourself would desire to be. So for all Nigerian farmers, this is my advice. And if you want to contact me and my team for any of the services which we are quite versatile in, you can reach us on 080
Yes.
60 54 7683. The number once again 080 60 54 7683. You can equally reach us on email via famousgreenorchards@gmail.com. Famous is FAMOUSNURTURES. Famous Green Nurtures is FAMOUSGRENNURTURES@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wasi, for coming through again in a very short period of time of notice. We deeply appreciate this.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, I will just sum up this very session just by Mr. Gabriel saying, cut your coat according to your size if you want to go into fishery estimation. On that note, we'll come to the end of the program where we discuss estimation of cost of production and fisheries. My name is Joshua Shai. You can call me Aquaman. Bye and see you some other time.